Welcome to the mold factory.
Mold. Mmm.
See that? Isn't that something? That's not the insulation from the chassis. That's actually dust and dirt.
Yep.
And like you said, the original owner was a smoker, so everything's going to be real sticky too.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one to clean up.
Well, we have plenty of time to work on it.
And we have plenty of coil cleaner.
Rumor has it you think somebody uses too much of it though.
Yeah, I do. So just to do it funny, we'll take a little bit of cleaner and put it in here. This is a brand new jug. And we're probably only going to use about a 20th of it.
Believe it or not, I don't think you're going to have to comb as much of the evaporator as you expect.
All jokes aside, that's probably about a reasonable amount to use.
There's a possibility you might need to make it a little stronger just because of how bad this is.
Right, that's true. I'll mix it a little bit stronger than this. Okay, now that that's out of the way.
It actually is bubbling up, oddly enough.
That's because that's all you need to use.
I'm actually glad I wore safety glasses because a little bit did splash on me.
Alright, you want to put a little bit of water in there? Maybe halfway.
Halfway?
Yeah.
Where's the flood?
You want to do a flood?
Well, so okay, that's halfway.
Perfect. Now we'll put about 1/8 of the way up with coil cleaner. I don't think the drain hole's working too good. We gotta get a bigger one in there.
If only there was a tool that could do that.
See how little we've used of the container so far? You don't have to use a lot of coil cleaner. At least if you're using a decent quality one.
And actually, even this is stronger than you usually use, but this unit is so bad that
Right,
it has
this
to be
is
this
awful.
strong. In fact, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to blast this from the back.
That's a good idea. And because we have so much cleaning to do, I'm gonna put the chemical gloves on.
You know what I like to do? I don't know if this works for you, but I like to use the flat
Yep, I do
set
that
of,
too.
oh, okay. That seems to be what works best for me. This is going to be such a great unit when we're finally done with it.
Especially because of the brand.
Yeah, Sanyo compressor, GE fan motor,
Hampton Bay logo.
SKF bearings. Actually, that'll be fun content as well, bearings.
Having the malfunction here. It's like barely even getting into the coil.
I'm
because
not
it's
even going
so-
to stand behind this. Look at that.
It's barely even getting into the coil because there's just so much dust. Try to go in from the back instead.
This poor unit did not deserve this.
No, this is quality stuff.
Well, what I mean is it didn't deserve the abuse that it saw. Look at how yellow that is. That's disgusting.
Well, that's the tire and everything.
Imagine what these people's lungs must look like.
And what does the rest of the house look like?
It's probably better not to think about it.
Yeah, whenever the units were in the vicinity of the smoking, it's so much more difficult to clean it up.
Yeah, because it's not just dirty, it's sticky.
Right.
You know, real talk, I think New Bright's probably one of the few things that can actually dissolve the cigarette tar.
Well, rust can dissolve it too.
Actually, I think one of the worst units he ever had was for a bar, and it had no filter in it.
Did he put too much coil cleaner on that one too?
Actually, in that case, I think it needed every bit that it got. That is so gross. But it's so satisfying to watch.
We're going to have to do this probably 2 or 3 times to get it all the way out.
Well, we got our work cut out for us for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
The motor will be the easy part of the job.
Well, as long as we don't have to go crazy with the coil comb, this shouldn't take too long.
I don't think that the fins are smashed that bad on this. Like I said earlier, you might be able to get it out with a plastic brush.
This is so crooked.
That's the best tripod, too.
It's important to have a good quality tripod, although now I offset it to the point where it's just as bad as the opposing direction.
We gotta get you a little, like, bubble level. Look at that. It's like brown and yellow coming out of that.
Yep, that's the color of the tire. And that's the sound of a good lunch.
Yes, it was a delicious lunch. Thank you again. I think this is worse than that the original Hampton Bay that you got, the 5K.
I don't think that one had the tire in it.
No, that's true.
I think we need a little bit more force for the initial.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to put it out the flood.
Well, speaking of floods, I'm going to get out of the way here. Wow, look at that. That actually took a lot of it out.
Oh, you want to get that stuff off the table before it drowns in the flood?
This stuff here?
Oh, the back of the evaporator looks great already.
Well, you used it like probably 4 to 1. Look at that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're right. It's not that bent up.
Not that you could tell behind all that disgusting crap that was on there.
It's so thick. Oh, look at the color of that running on the table.
Wow. It's actually funny that the fins look like they're rusty because they're so sticky. It's too bad you didn't have like a paper cup or something. We could have put it in there and shown how disgusting it is. Wow.
We're going to have to probably do 3 or 4 coats of that, I think.
I think you're right.
This is not coming clean.
Although it's amazing how much came off in the first shot.
That's true. I think the most amazing thing is it was still working in this condition.
We're going to have to drill a much bigger drain hole in this than what it has, though.
And this is powerful. It's going to pull a lot of moisture.
Even though it's a garbage bay.
Oh, man, that's awful.
The other thing that might be worth...
Maybe you could just roll the cart out of the way. We don't need this sticky junk all over the cart.
The other thing that might be worth looking into while we have this apart are the sleeves around the compressor mounts. I know the compressor wasn't vibrating, but while we're in there, may as well do it. I brought some with me.
Oh, okay.
You just need a pipe cutter to cut them down because they're probably too tall. Or you could take them out if you never put the unit on its back or upside down. It really doesn't even need them at all.
I don't intend to do either of those things. I just intend to put a little too much coil. Have you ever seen rust clean an air conditioner?
No!
I feel like you might use a little too much coil cleaner at times.
This is the type of strength you have to rinse it off like right away.
Right. And this is still a fraction of what Russ uses. Is that rust? I can't tell.
No, it's not, but it sure looks like it, doesn't it?
It looks like rust.
It looks like ferrous metal, right?
I guess it's just tar.
It's so disgusting.
Even this doesn't seem to be touching it.
I don't even think the Whirlpool was that bad.
It didn't have this tire on it. Maybe it was used in the non-smoking section.
It's starting to dissolve it.
Yes, it's dissolving the coil too.
You know, to get that off, you might have to use the secret sauce.
The coil is very delicate. Yeah, it just broke there.
Did it?
Yeah, the coil is very rotted, and that's just from the moisture sitting on it constantly from all the dirt. So we're not going to be able to apply much pressure to this at all.
The coil is not as smashed as I expected it to be, though.
Well, unfortunately, it might be by the time we're done with this.
No, you're using the jet, so it's
Well, we
bending.
have to.
I know.
You know, some people pressure wash these things.
No, that's wrong. Can't do that.
No, it's not coming off.
We might have to use a scrub brush or something.
We might have to use some friction here. Oh, man. Yeah, that definitely is the tar. Wow. Not good.
Yeah, I think it's going to need some mechanical agitation.
All right, we'll get a brush.
I mean, it's like 95% better than it was.
True, but I still don't want that on there.
I understand. I don't sleep. Oh, wow. You know what I find amazing is that this coil cleaner isn't taking the Brady label off.
The what?
Sorry, that decal down there.
What did you call it?
It's a Brady label. That's Brady makes the labels. Sorry, we use them in my factory, so. You have city water, right?
Yep.
Good thing, otherwise you'd empty the well out.
I would not buy a house with well water.
I wonder how long it takes for the well to refill.
Depends on the area.
I guess it depends on the depth of it too, right?
Around here, it probably never would run out.
Oh, really?
Because the water table is so high, you'd literally be pumping out of the water table.
I guess around here you can probably sink a well like only 20 feet.
Yeah. Well, actually, could be totally reliable as long as it's set up correctly.
Well, that, and over time, as more houses get built, the water table can get lower and lower.
That's for trees change everything.
Do you want me to keep rinsing it while you get the brush?
Yeah, you might as well.
Okay. This is so disgusting.
This is terrible.
The fins are busted up, but not nearly as bad as that Whirlpool.
Oh, the Whirlpool nothing beats that, but this did come out of the same household, so whatever was going on there went on to this one too. Wow. Is he even taking it off?
Well, I think what you're going to have to do is spray New Bright on it and then agitate it with that.
Yeah, I think it is taking it off.
Man, you got your work cut out for you with those fins, though. Like,
Well,
what happened over there? Like, why is that so
That's-
screwed up?
I think that's from spraying it.
Yeah, I mean, these bent over before from spraying it. I saw
Yeah.
that.
It's just, it's become, it's starting to rot out because the moisture is sitting on there 24/7 from the dust.
I'm always amazed at how good the condition is of the base pan after washing something. Like, it always looks like it's going to be so much worse than it ever ends up being.
It's almost like the dirt protects it to some degree.
Yeah, it does. That's what it seems like, right?
Why don't you rinse over here and see if it's taking it off?
Yeah, it's getting there. You're making some pretty good progress. I probably should have put my crappy clothes back on before we started this. In fact, I think I might do that. Well, this is the worst unit I've ever seen. Those poor fins.
This might call for some ice cream.
Oh, I like that idea.
This is just atrocious. I just never understand, like, you spend hundreds of dollars on a unit and then you let it get like this. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that seems dumb. Just imagine how much better this thing's going to work when we're done with it, though.
It already was working pretty good.
I know. It's kind of amazing. Despite being a, piece of garbage. I think this is the strongest I've ever seen you use coil cleaner before.
Yeah, and it's still not working. I'm gonna have to get Russ over here.
It's going, slowly but surely.
I suppose at some point, like if it's not coming off this way, it's not gonna come off into the air. But it's still just annoying in concept.
Well, I'd be bothered by it too, especially since I'm so repulsed by cigarettes. Like, what did they do? Did they blow smoke directly into the intake or something?
That stuff, it seeps into everything in the room. That's just how it is.
I know you were a little bit hesitant to do it before, but we may have to put those parts in the dishwasher.
Well, those I'll put coil cleaner on very heavy. That I don't care about. I don't think it would damage the plastic.
You said the styrofoam isn't usually bothered by
The
it, right?
styrofoam is not bothered by it.
Interesting. You want me to get a piece of wood to prop up one side of this so that it drains better?
Yeah, I guess so. It's pretty full.
This is probably too tall, right? You don't want to use this.
Yeah, get a.
I'll get a 2x4?
one of the 2x4s.
Before you get started over here, let me just lift this thing. There we go.
Can't even find a good reference point on this coil to find
So
out what the
messed
pin
up.
size is.
I think it still needs to be rinsed off. I still see some foam on
Oh,
there.
it's got a lot more rinsing to go.
Actually has a couple of stained spots. Although I can't tell if that's stained or if that's clean.
That's pretty bad.
Gross.
It's such a waste of good equipment.
This poor unit never deserved this. You almost feel bad for the equipment.
I'll try to straighten this out and then we'll do one more coat of cleaner. This may or may not work.
Yeah,
If the coil is so rotted, this won't work.
might be a screwdriver job, which is like a never-ending.
Yeah, that's like a, oh well, it's not going to be perfect kind of a deal.
Not to mention how time-consuming it is.
Right.
Yeah, I really wish I brought that that brush lid with me.
You didn't bring any coil cleaner?
No, I didn't want you to use too much. Oh, the sun's coming out.
Hope the sun doesn't put too much coil cleaner on it. Yeah, this is rough. It's breaking apart.
All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to change into some junky clothes. We'll start cleaning some other stuff when we get back.
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to do much with this coil. As soon as I try to put the comb through it, it just breaks.
The coil is so messed up.
Unfortunately, sometimes this happens, you know, when the machine is dirty like that for extended periods of time. This is the end result.
Isn't that kind of what happened with the Whirlpool too?
It is. And that coil looks terrible in that thing. But it works great.
It has plenty of airflow over it.
Right, and this arguably still has enough airflow as well. It just doesn't look good.
So don't look at it.
I won't. I just cut this part out of the video. Don't look at the coil. there's not much we can really do with this. The coil is so deteriorated that the fins just break when you push the comb through it. So, unfortunately, this is just what the coil is going to look like. I can't really get it any better within a reasonable amount of time. You would have to do this probably one fin at a time, and I just don't have the time for that. It's not worth it. This coil has enough airflow that it'll run. It'll generally work okay.
This is what I should have worn from the get-go.
I think we're just about to cowl it on this coil.
Not
straight
bad,
in
huh?
here.
Do you think it's kind of a lost cause?
I think it's at least 90% open.
Oh, that looks much better.
The problem is
Yeah, they start breaking apart.
it's so rotted it just breaks as soon as you drag the coil over, or the comb over it. So there's really no point.
And the fins are kind of dense on it too. This blower wheel is disgusting too.
Yeah, we'll just douse that in coil cleaner.
Okay. Well, I'll give this styrofoam a pre-rinse. Look at this. Put this in front of the camera. This is the water that came out of the unit. It's... Oh man, that is disgusting. See if it shows up. It's like the color of coffee. That is disgusting. That's almost as disgusting as syrup on pizza.
Ugh.
Has he ever watched any of your content?
I think he's seen some of the videos. I don't think he'd watch a lengthy production like this.
For those outside the community, it's probably not very interesting.
Oh well, I think it's interesting.
I do too. I find it oddly satisfying. In fact, this would probably fit in with the oddly satisfying subreddit. Now that all the mold's gone, probably take this mask off. I'm actually surprised how much just plain water's taking off.
Oh, it's so thick at this point.
But this blower wheel's got nothing on that Whirlpool though.
No, I think the blower was the worst.
Yeah, I thought the blower was black. Wow, look at all that foam. What? Dang. I'd say like all the tar is gone now too.
Yeah, I think whatever doesn't come off at this point is not going to come off into the air. It would be nice in concept to get it perfect, but it's not going to be.
It's so badly damaged. You really don't want to push it any harder than you have. Look at all that crud. I don't understand why these videos don't go viral like the pressure washing videos do. This is equally satisfying to me.
Probably because it's not heavily edited.
Perhaps.
I can see through the coil now, so I think we'll call that a major improvement.
Yeah, I could see through it too. Actually, I could see through a surprising amount of the condenser coil too.
Yeah, it's still open in the center, but you're losing so much of it, it's definitely a problem.
Oh, this does have a bubble level on it. That's pretty cool. Interesting.
Now, in theory, this should be probably the more interesting of the cleanings. Because usually the condenser is worse than the evaporator.
I don't think that was the case here.
In this
but
case, it might be an exception.
I don't know.
Hello?
I would keep rinsing that evaporator because there is still a little bit of foam in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna rinse the whole thing very good in a minute.
How cool would it be if Hampton Bay made a 24 and you're able to find that?
I don't know. Do you think it came in that big of a capacity?
I don't remember.
I mean, the machine exists. I guess it's a question of how big of a chassis was the Hampton Bay Brands and cover offered in. Is that another stupid worm thing floating around there?
Well, if it is, it's about to knock me. I'm going to cancel it out.
Can you cancel that out?
Bye-bye. You're not eating any leaves.
Wrecking my oak trees.
I try not to kill living things, including bugs, but they do so much damage that I have to make an exception.
Well, some bugs are beneficial and then some are destructive.
For example, and I might have told you this, I won't kill spiders. And I know that would really piss off Russ, because he's terrified of the things, and most people are. But I like them because they eat mosquitoes, and I am extremely allergic to mosquitoes.
I don't mess with spiders outside, but if they come in the house, they gotta go.
Well, if they come in the house, I usually grab them with like a cup or something and bring them outside. I won't kill them though, because I can't do it. They're helping me, so. You know, it's amazing how clean the base pan got without any agitation.
Whoops, that was a waste of like 2 air conditioners worth of coil cleaner right there.
I don't even think you've used a quart of the New Bright at this point yet.
Well, that's because we're using it within reason. Some other collectors like to use it beyond reason. Some very respected collectors even use it beyond reason.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you felt that way.
Oh. I'll try to make it more widely known. Oops. Was that the sound of using too much coil cleaner?
I think of all the stuff you showed me on the deck earlier, the fire pit's probably the coolest.
I like that fire pit.
That must be really nice in the winter.
I don't go outside in the winter. It's nice in the summer.
See, me personally, I would probably use it in the winter so I could sit outside and look at the Christmas lights.
That's fair. It doesn't throw off quite that much heat. I mean, it does, but it's more of a, like, for aesthetics than anything else.
Oh, that makes sense. It's actually kind of amazing. The condenser coil is in almost perfect condition.
Well, that's because the drain hole makes a huge difference.
Now, there's a little bit of coil rot, superficial coil rot on like the last row, but it's really not that bad.
Well, there's a good chance that the drain hole was plugged for a while, too. Very small.
Yeah, it looks like it's only about 1/8 of an inch in diameter, which probably would be fine if it's not clogged.
Yeah. I mean, all things considered, this from here up is perfect.
Agreed.
And since these can run with 0% of the condenser...
Yeah, apparently. You could probably just dissolve the fins entirely, and the copper loops would probably still get rid of the heat on these fetters units.
If we have at least 90%, I think it'll work just fine.
Plus, the bottom row doesn't really do anything anyway because the base pan's in the way.
Well, right now, none of it's going to do anything because the coil cleaner's in the way.
that styrofoam is so disgusting that might even need full strength. Like the first Hampton Bay did. I hope it doesn't.
Well, if it does, I know who can take care of that. Yep, there's that tire coming out of this.
Yuck. This is so satisfying to watch.
I can't even see it.
You want us to explain?
I can watch it back on the video later.
See, I'm not brave enough to use the jet setting. I'm always afraid I'm going to bend the fins when I do that.
Well, if they're in good condition, it should be fine. It's just when it's rotted out.
The dirt is like climbing out of the coil. It's actually really cool. I think this is going to be a great unit for the kitchen.
Yeah, I think so too.
Although I don't know if it'll be as quiet as that carrier was. That's a tough act to follow.
Oh yeah, nothing will beat that carrier. But that's, I mean, to me that's a whole different category. Carrier was high end. This was not meant to be high end.
Yeah, that's true. This was a consumer grade product.
I would go as far as say this was actually economy grade. In big box store, Home Depot, that's not. Especially the store brand at that.
I don't know. I mean, you could say that if you want, but it lacks nothing in longevity and performance. Is it as
Oh,
wide as
no.
a carrier? No.
Well, I'm talking about more the intention rather than what it actually was.
Fair
Obviously, it was very good quality.
It punched well above its weight, that's for sure. And like I told Jordan on the telephone, I think that those 5.1Ks were really just like rebadged 6Ks because they run like 60s. Look at the foam in the basement.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot better.
Yeah, some of the fins are starting to fall off. Yeah, this area here is kind of rough. It's taking a bunch of fins with it.
That's probably where the slinger was putting all the water.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it, right?
The machine will run just fine without it.
Yeah, that coil's probably thicker than it needs to be anyway. And that's always the area where all that mud sits anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty much clear.
I don't even know if you need to do a second pass through this.
No,
I think it's good enough.
I agree.
I would just keep rinsing and rinsing and rinsing, but the other thing that's probably worth doing is let's try to clean out under this compressor too. There's a lot of crud there. You don't want that sitting.
No, definitely not. Well, that came out pretty easy.
What I usually like to do is I like to get like one of those foam brushes under there with some soap. Usually does a pretty good job. Yeah, it's
That's
full
gotta
of,
be all, yeah, that's all.
it's all mud and stuff. Look at that. It feels so weird submerging your hands in liquid with gloves. Like, you think your hands should be getting wet, but they're not. I'm not used to this. Yeah, some of this is metal. It's starting to get nice out.
Oh, maybe we'll be able to test it out.
If we're able to get this thing fully back together today, I think that's really good. Testing it out would be like a super extra bonus at this point. These things always clean up so nice. I'm always amazed. Oh, you know what? I think there's a drain in this styrofoam that's clogged.
Can you unclog it?
Well, I would, but I probably need a screwdriver or something because I can't really see what I'm doing.
Rats, I don't have any of those here.
Oh well, too bad. We'll have to go to that secret location and get some more stuff.
Or we could go to the other Home Depot.
You think we'll see any digital transformers? My buddy Rom enjoyed that, by the way. Let me get out of the way. See, all these units I've cleaned, I've never thought of doing something like that. Just taking the nozzle out and just soaking the thing.
You need to rinse this so much when you use this cleaner.
Especially if you, you know.
Especially if you use too much of it. Not that anybody ever uses too much.
Let me go see if I can find a screwdriver in the garage. I'm not making any guarantees.
Yeah, you'll have to hunt high and low. You can try looking by the tools.
Oh, is that where it would be? You want to use a little bit of soap and agitation to wash out the base pan?
Yeah, we could do that.
Yuck.
Did you get it unclogged?
I think I did. It's kind of a strange setup here.
Well, this was the Hampton Bay brand version, so
Junk.
you have to expect some anomalies.
Junk. Yeah, look at that. It's amazing how much shiny paint there is still here.
There probably was a decent high-grade paint that was used.
Apparently, I'll tell you what, when I stripped the paint off that Glacier Breeze, that was a lot of work.
See, we're still getting some foam out of this. You have to rinse this so much.
It's so frustrating. But, I mean, you use like 4-to-1, which is the strongest I've ever seen you do. Yeah, you know what we can do is we can use that paintbrush.
You got to paint some?
We could do that. That little chip brush that we brought out. That and, do you have any car soap in the garage? That usually works pretty good.
Yeah, I do have some automotive soap.
And because I'm such a neat freak with these things, I usually even wax the inside of them too.
Yeah, you go a lot further than I do.
Well,
I mostly go for performance more than aesthetics.
well, it's not aesthetics in my case. It's, you know, the salt fog, like I always say.
Yeah, we have a different situation, different use case than I do.
Yeah.
And around here, at this point, the rust is probably stopped. It's not going to get any worse. If you're running it by the ocean, it's a whole different story.
Well, in the not too distant future, hopefully that won't be the case anymore.
Oh boy, look at that styrofoam piece filled up with water now.
How bad is it? Oh, wow! Oh, that's gross!
You know what's not gross? Ice cream.
You trying to tell me something that you want? There's still some foam coming out of the bottom.
I know. You got it.
The foam is, the bottom's the hardest part to get the foam out of, and of course that's the part that's the most ruined too. We're gonna flood your yard by the time we're done with this.
Wouldn't be the first time, it'd be the last.
I'm amazed this doesn't kill your grass.
Well, it's so diluted at this point, it probably doesn't do anything.
I've heard that other people don't dilute it as much as you do though.
Yeah, I've seen one person in particular just using it very, very strong. I don't think that's a good idea.
You like that ice cream though. Ice cream. Why is there still foam in here?
Because too much coil cleaner was used.
This looks like the beach though, like there's sand in here. Look at this, you can still see the numbers that the factory wrote on the base pan, 869, whatever that is. Sorry, I haven't cracked that code yet.
That's the amount of coil cleaner you're supposed to use.
I can tell you the date it was manufactured, right down to the day, but... Well, the day the label was printed.
Which is probably
Close enough.
the same day.
But as I know from where I work, sometimes stuff sits in on the factory floor for weeks because of the amount of troubleshooting required to solve a problem. But this is obviously less complicated to troubleshoot than the stuff that my company makes.
This is a much more simple piece of equipment.
Yeah. It's not flight controls.
Just climate controls.
Yeah, there's still a bunch of dust over here too. Alright, let me go get that soap we were talking about. Maybe I'll even use a little bit of coil cleaner.
It should be in that cabinet under near where the computer is.
Okay. Oh, that is... Oh no. That is so bad.
I think we're just about good here with the rinsing.
Yeah, that's probably true. I'm very satisfied with how this turned out.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I think one or two sweeps with the coil comb and you'll squeeze out the last few drops of performance out of this. Yeah, I can totally see through the evaporating in like 95%, if not more.
Condenser soap?
The condenser's actually better than the evaporator.
No, I'm not surprised. I think the
See how
condenser soap
smashed those fins were?
still pretty good. Alright, I think we're good here.
I can't wait until we can power this up and try it out. That's going to be awesome.